Good afternoon, everyone. It is Robert, and I am here, and I'm going to switch this up so that it doesn't look so goofy to you. It is today we're going to be talking about email templates. When I can get this little guy squared away here, it's going to look so cool. I tell you, some days you just look at things and go, "Wow, that is going to be really, really cool when it works." So let's see if we can grab that thing. It is fighting me this whole way. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I'll put you up here. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. And there it is. Okay. Whew, boy, that was a close call there. How you doing? Anyways, I am glad to be with you here today. Of course, it is Robert. It is the Command Select class today, and we're going to be talking about email templates. And when I say email templates, what I'm referring to is the design of the email framework within Command. But we're not going to stay just inside of Command here. We're going to be jumping around into a couple of different tools and techniques, and I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff. Now, when I set this up today, I set it up so that we could have some chats going on, and I put in the chat of Facebook, I put a little thing that says there's a chat.restream.io. If you'd like to have your name shared so that I can actually see your name while we're working on this, go ahead and click that link and then just say, yes, please add my name to the chat. And then that way I'll be able to see your name. Otherwise, you show up on my screen as Facebook user. So we don't want that. We want you to have your name, your real name in here. And so with that being said, what do you think of my new setup here? I got a fancy. Oh, check this out. I can even make this go right so that my hands go on top of the screen. Oh, professional. This is what happens when you give a kid too much technology. And I think you know what I mean. If you're watching and you know me, you know what I mean. So anyways, let's get started by talking about what are some of the components that we will need to kind of put in place to really create an effective email template in Command. And we're going to start, of course, we're going to be in Command here, but we're going to start not where you think. We're going to start up here on the profile settings, and we're going to go down to settings. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to make sure that in Command, under the Connect settings up here, under Marketing Profile, you're going to see all of your cool information. Much of the information that is in the Marketing Profile area of your Command program is going to be used to create email templates within Command. So when you go down through here, make sure that you have completely filled this out. Now, it doesn't mean that, for example, your bio is going to end up inside of an email template, but a lot of the contact information, especially to deal with the phone numbers, the office phone, your website, your email addresses, all of that stuff here. The reason we build these marketing profiles is so that you can use this information without having to continuously update it for every campaign or every marketing thing that you do. That's literally why it's called the marketing profile. Okay, so make sure that when you go through here, as much information as you can add has been added. Now, it does not mean that we're going to use everything, but it is very important to make sure that it is all completely filled out. Okay, so that's part number one. Part number two is understanding how Command technically works to kind of put these emails together. And that means understanding how designs work and also understanding how campaigns work. So I'm going to give you a brief look at campaigns really quick here. So I'm going to come over here on the left-hand side. And remember, we can always click the little red and white icon here. And I'm going to show you campaigns really quickly. Now, in the campaign area, when you come into this, you're going to come into a dashboard, and it's going to show you a whole bunch of great stuff here, tips and training and some different quick posts that you can just grab and do social posts with. So some pretty cool stuff here. But what we're looking for right now is focusing on our email campaigns. So I'm going to go up on the dashboard here over to emails, and I'm going to click on emails, and we'll take a look at it from here. So in the email area of campaigns, a campaign that is an email campaign consists of one email, an email that you create, going out to an audience. So in campaigns, one of the things to remember is that campaigns are basically one marketing action. So it is an email. In this case, we're on email, and we're going to send this email that we use, and we're going to send it out to a single audience. Now we can repeat that process. We can say the same email and go out to the same audience or even a different audience. That's totally fine. But it's the actual campaign is just one email going out to an audience. Now, when we put a campaign together, we come over here to the right-hand side and we say, I want to create a new campaign. So I'll create a campaign here, and the campaign gives me a choice of doing a social paid ad, a search ad for Google AdWords, a social post, which is free, a direct mail, which is where you're printing. You don't print. We send out for you to a printer and have them automatically physically mail your promotions to your addresses. And then, of course, email, the last one here. So we're going to click that really quick. Click on email, and of course we have to give it a name. So this is, we're going to say 9, let's see, today is, what is today? 09/23/21 class. And I'll just call it that so you can see what's going on here. The email campaign has to have a reason, or what they call a goal. So you'll need to pick, are you advertising a listing, attracting a listing, brand awareness, all of these different things here. Well, we're going to focus on brand awareness for a moment because it's the easiest one to kind of get our heads around for our email templates. So I'll go ahead and click on brand awareness. Now, when I slide down to the bottom, it gives me a choice. How are you going to run this campaign? You can either use the built-in command email system, which is where we're sending it out to our database or members of our database, and we're using commands, free 5,000 emails per month to send out that email campaign. Optionally, if you have connected, now remember that's what I said if you have connected your MailChimp account to command in the settings area, you can use MailChimp to actually send out the emails. Now, what this means is you're going to build it here, you're going to hit send, and it's going to transfer this information over to MailChimp and send it out using your MailChimp contact or your database over there. So that's something to keep in mind. I can discuss this further with you on which ones will be best for different situations, but we're going to select the command email and we're going to stay with that for right now. And I'm going to click on Create Campaign. All right, so here's the campaign designer window. This is where we put the whole campaign together. And this is why I wanted to talk about, what we can do with our email that we build, that we design. Okay, so when I come down here, we have the name of the campaign. We have the account that this campaign is going to use as the send address. In this case, I'm using the KWCLM address. You probably will be using your KW account unless you're using your business account, like, myrealestatecompany.com. That's okay too. Then we see here that it says send to. Who are we sending this email campaign to? Now, keep in mind that an email campaign inside of command literally is going to the members of your database. Okay? It's not going to some random people that you don't know. You need to have everyone that you want to send this campaign to has to have a valid email address. And that valid email address needs to be inside of your database already. So when we say send to, we can use lists. And we can create an unlimited amount of email lists that we can add people to. And the way that we want to think about this is email lists are usually created by somehow organized tags. So we have a group of people that we want to send this to, and that group is for people that are looking for houses in Portsmouth. So we have tagged a bunch of people, maybe 100 or 200 people who are looking for houses in Portsmouth. And when we tag them with the tag Portsmouth, we can bring them into an email list for specifically the area they want to look at. We can do the same thing for leads that have come from Facebook. If we ran a Facebook ad and we want to bring in all the people that we've got from that Facebook ad, we can point this list and say, grab all the people that have that came in from the Facebook ad and bring them into this list. So the list itself, you can create a brand new list and you can specify by the tags. Or you can also specify by adding people manually. Clicking through here, doing a search for a name, you can search for an email, and if your contacts have been properly set up with neighborhoods, you can actually search for them by neighborhoods as well. So there's a lot of really cool tools to build email lists that you can use for your email campaigns. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click out of this because I'm not going to use an email campaign list right now. We're just talking about it in terms of the general settings here. Okay. Next up is the send from, and that is who it's coming from, and I've set it up to send it from robert.vincent at KWCLM, which matches up over here to the account that I'm using. Okay. And then, of course, you will need to type a subject. No matter what you do with any email designs that you create, you will still need to type a subject. So maybe open house this weekend, or upcoming homes in Portsmouth. Whatever it ends up being, you will need a subject for your email. And down here, notice that when we get down to the bottom, there's no part or section here to type out an email. No plain text email option. Now, if you're thinking about what happened to it or why isn't it here, it doesn't exist here. This email campaign uses designs that you create in Command or bring into Command. What you might be thinking is, well, how come I'm used to seeing something where I can create an email just by typing it in? You're thinking of smart plans. In smart plans, when you generate a part or an action in a smart plan, one action, which can be an email. When you do that, you can choose between using an email design or you can use plain text. And in the case of a campaign, you only have the choice for designs. You can only pick a design. Okay, excellent. So now we understand what's going on here. The select design is the part that we're going to be focusing on for this class. Now we understand how these things come about. Over here on the right-hand side, you can see that there's a preview. No design has been selected for this campaign, so there is an option here for selecting that. Now, down at the bottom and up at the top on the right. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Select Design here, and you can see that it takes me to my template library. And in my template library, I've got all 68 of the email templates that I have created that I could technically use in this particular campaign. So I can pick any one of these. Let's say I'll go over here and it says turbocharge your training. This is actually a campaign that I ran a little while ago to let a bunch of agents know about the trainings that we offer at KWCLM. So when I click on that and say, yes, I want to use that, you'll notice here that it's in design mode. As a matter of fact, if you look at it, it looks like we just had opened up a brand new design. All it's doing here is taking an existing design and allowing us to modify it if we need to. I'm going to go ahead and click on preview so you can see what this design looks like. And right now the graphic is not coming in here, but you can see it's got the header and the footer and everything here. So this is the design. Now, if I wanted to change it around, I could. I don't want to change it around. I already built this one, so I kind of know what these graphics are going to look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit save and close. And it's going to transfer that graphic into here. And for some reason, look at that. It's not bringing in my little image for my little turbocharge thing. Not sure why, but we'll take a look and continue on. Now, down at the bottom here, it says selected design template for your mail. And you can click update. Or you can come over here in the email preview and you can preview an email, or you can send a test email, which actually I'm going to do now because I do notice that it isn't showing my little graphic that I had in here. So I'm going to send it from Robert from this email, and I'm going to send it to that email at KW, where am I? KWCLM and the test. And there we go. Okay, so I'll send this off as a test email to that account. And while I'm in the background here, I'll do it in kind of, while you're just sitting there, you know, twiddling your thumbs or whatever. Let's see if I got a drink here. I'll take a sip. Oh, it's vodka today. No, Nate, it's not really vodka. There was no way I would have been able to take 2 sips if it was vodka. That's some good stuff. All right, so let's see if that email comes over to me here. And while we're waiting for that puppy. All right, well, while I'm waiting for it, I'll continue on here and we'll check back with that. We'll check back with the Outlook email in just a moment. Okay, so now what we're focused on here today, and there it comes. All right, no, just when I did that. Okay, no, so the graphic didn't come through. So something's wrong with my email. So that graphic that's in this slot right here didn't come through. And we'll fix that up. As a matter of fact, we'll actually work on that. So what we're focused on here right now is that the campaign requires us to have an email design already built so that we can add it to our email campaign. Perfect. That's what we wanted, and that's what we've got here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a draft. And we're going to go back and we see that we have our 9/23/21 class, and here is the information on it. It's in draft mode. So how do we create the designs for our email campaigns? Well, there's about a dozen or more or 100 different ways we can do it. And so I want to talk to you about some of the options that you have. And I'm going to open up another window over here, and I'm going to type in MailChimp. Okay, why am I typing in MailChimp and not Command? Well, here's the deal. Let's see, that's good. Boom, boom, ba-da-ba-bing. MailChimp, you can sign up for a free email, a MailChimp account that gives you up to 2,000 contacts for free. So you can have 2,000 contacts in a free email account at MailChimp, and you can use many of their designs. And by the way, here is that design that I had created, that one with the little turbocharged thing there. Let's see if I can email templates. There we go. And here it is, turbocharge it. So this, and see, it's even showing broken here. Very interesting that that thing is not showing up well, but that's okay. So that, you know, that's interesting that it's happening here because this was done a while ago and I probably used an online image for it, and that's why it's not showing up, but that's okay. So email, using MailChimp, you can create a free template. I'll go over here and click on Create Template. And this is just one of 1,000 things that we can do. So there's all these different styles. So there's featured styles, there's basic styles. And then if you want, you can upgrade and pay for other styles. So any one of these things here, here's a nice simple one, 2 columns. So upgrade to use. You know, that one is not free. So I'll just go ahead and click on one of these and say, here's how this email works. Notice that when we come into MailChimp, now we're not training on MailChimp here, because what I want you to more importantly notice is that MailChimp allows you to add text, boxed text, dividers, images, groups, cards, a whole bunch of things that you can add to your email template to design it. It's free and it's really powerful. And the end of the day here, MailChimp will give you a downloadable code that you can use here and put it inside of Command and have this thing show up just right. So if I come up here and I click on the logo section and I say, well, let's go ahead and replace my logo, and I'm just going to do one simple thing. I'll take the KW logo and I'll insert that. I'm just going to leave the rest of this stuff here. So I've created an email template, nothing fancy, as a matter of fact, literally nothing fancy. I'm going to save and close that template. Okay, so here is my email template. I'm going to save and exit, and I'm going to name this test template, and we'll call it 9/21/23. Okay, so now I'm going to do that. Now I'm only showing you one simple example. Now you can do this anytime you want, and you can do any version of these that you want. But here's one example. So here's my little test template spelled very poorly. On the right-hand side, there is an export as HTML option for my MailChimp email design. So I'm going to say export as HTML. And it says, okay, there we go. So I'll click export template, and it's going to put it on the bottom of my screen here, and you can see that it's downloaded. And it says here, show in Finder. So I'm going to go ahead and show that in Finder. Now you won't see that window on my screen, but essentially it opened up a window which now I can see that template. Now I have an email template. Now I want to show you how easy this is. In Command, back in Command, I mentioned that we have to create these email designs. I just went outside to MailChimp and just created this very brain dead simple example. If I come back over into Command now and I go to Designs, where I need to build or get the design from to put it into my email inside of Command, and I hit Import Design. Check it out. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back one here. I'm going to go back. Instead of doing Import Design, I'm going to say Create Design. So I click on Create Design, and I say it's going to be an email design. Good enough. So far, so good. And that email design, I'll click it there, and I'm going to click Continue. And it's going to say, okay, where is the design that you want to import? I want to import it from HTML. So HTML. Now here, I can either paste the code from the file, or I can import that file that I downloaded from MailChimp, that HTML file. And it's in the lower corner of my browser, so I'm going to drag it and drop it right onto that main screen. And it says Test Template 923 HTML, and I'll click Import. And now on this one here, it says there are some unknown merge tags. So I'm just going to go ahead and find out which ones we have here. Description, profile. There are none, so I'm going to go ahead and click Continue because they're not matched up. So any unknown tag without a replacement is going to be removed. Perfect. All right. Well, we'll just do it this one name. That's fine. Oh, okay. I'll just throw these in here because I'm not really worried about it. There we go. Okay. It brought in for me my logo and all of that placeholder information as well, which I can now, if I want to, edit further. Replace images. I can do anything I want. Now, I could have built out an incredibly beautiful email template in MailChimp. Totally fine. All I did, though, is I brought in just that quick little logo for you here so that you could see how easy it is to create an external version of an email and then bring it into Command. Okay, so why, Robert, did you create in MailChimp first an email template? Why didn't you just do it in Command? All right, let's get honest around the fire here. The tools that you have inside of Command to create these emails is kind of limited. And as you saw when I was in MailChimp, remember when we were in MailChimp itself and we were looking at the window with the options for all the things that we can add, image groups, image cards, we can do all the social links, we can do all these things. Those options are better than the ones that we have in Command. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here slamming Command. My job is to train you how to use these things. But sometimes it can be a little bit easier if you have a broader range of tools that you can use, and you can pick from better sources of options. I like that about MailChimp. It's a free tool that allows you to do these designs. Now that we've said that, now that we're here, we've brought in this little template, and I'm going to go ahead and say that this is going to be 09/23/21 email. All right, and I will save this. At this point in time, that email right there, I can now use in any of my email campaigns. Now, I didn't spend 10 minutes or even 5 minutes developing the email, but you get the idea behind using MailChimp free account to design an email using their tools, which are very easy to use, and then bringing that in to Command to use in your design to be used in your campaign. That's one way to do it. Let's talk about another way to do it. And that other way is Google Docs. I'm a really, really big fan of this. And I'll tell you what's going on here. If I open up a Google Doc and inside here I say this is my new agent email introduction. Okay. And I put it in there and I say, you know what? I want to make that a title, make it nice and big, maybe centered on the page. And we'll enter underneath here a paragraph of text. And let's see if I got any text here that I can go and grab some. Let's make it lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum. And for those of you who hear the word lorem ipsum, you may know what it means and you may not. But what's really cool is lorem ipsum is a fake text. And there we go. So it makes it look like a paragraph of text. Okay, so I got a little paragraph of text here that's not really just English or anything like that. It's just fake. And now below this, I want to put an image. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go up here to insert image, and I'm going to search the web. And I'm going to search the web for real estate. And it's going to give me pictures on the right-hand side here. And it's going to say, do you want any of these pictures for your thing that you're doing? Yeah, I love that one. So I'm going to take that image right there, and I'm going to say insert that image into my document right there. And it might be a little big, so I'll come down here and we'll say shrink it down just a little bit, get it right in the middle of the page, and I'll center it on the page here. There we go. And then underneath that one, I'll say buy now. And of course, you're going to buy from me. And I can have all my information that I'm going to add in my header and footer and contact information in command. But so what I have right here, I'm going to zoom down here so that you can see it. So there is my text, my image, and of course my little buy now thing. All I need to do now is select everything on the page from my email template in Google Docs. So I select everything on the page and I'll copy it to the clipboard. Okay, you with me so far? So I designed a really cool email in Google Docs. I'll come back to command. I'm already in designs here on the left hand side. I'm already in designs, and I'm going to go ahead and click create design up in the upper right hand corner. And design is going to be an email design. So I'll do that and I'll hit continue. So in the new design here, these are the templates that I have. I'm going to come up here, not using the import HTML this time, because that was what we did when we did the MailChimp. But I'm going to come over here to create new template. And in this new dialog here, where there's nothing in here, I'm just going to drag a good old-fashioned text box. That's it. I'm going to go into that text box by double-clicking. I'm going to select everything in that text box, and I'm going to paste in my fancy schmancy text from my... Hey, well, that's not very nice. Let's go back over here. There we go. See? There it is. I must have grabbed something bad. So the only thing that looks like it didn't do here for me was make the text for my introduction the right size, which I can do. But here's all my text. Here's my image, and here's my little buy now button. And I can go ahead and click done. And there is my cool schmancy email, to which I can now add my legal header, and it's got my contact information. And at the bottom of the page, I can add my legal footer, and that's all something that's happening within command. And I'll go ahead and preview my little email. And so this, using Google Docs, is my email. All of the work that was done inside for the formatting and the creation of the content of my email was all done in Google Docs. Being able to do it inside of Google Docs and then transfer that information without having to worry about using all these other tools here is very, very powerful. And I love it. I love how simple it is. I love what it can do for you. And I love all of the options. So what's the trick here? Well, actually, by the way, we have that little buy now thing here that we put in. I'm going to go ahead and put a button in here. And that button, I'm going to make that say buy now. So the button text, BUYNOW, and I can link that to anywhere I want. Let's say I'm going to link it over to a web address, and that is going to be techtube.com. Okay, there we go. And I'll take out the buy now text from that one at the bottom of the screen, because I've decided I wanted to do it as a button. Okay, so click done there. There we go. Preview this thing for you. And now I've got a little button here that I can say buy now, which for some reason the word buy now didn't come in there. Button text, buy now. Oh, I know why. I forgot to hit save. God, it's the worst. KW. There we go. Save. There we go. Now we got the buy now. And here it is, my little buy now button. Okay. You can see that by just being a couple of small edits here, we've got a very good looking email that we used a combination of Google Docs and also with KW Commands email. Very, very cool. So I'm going to go ahead and save this here. Actually, I'll give it a name. This is going to be my 923 buy now. And I'll save that and exit. So now we have that buy now here in our list, right next to, by the way, the one that we created when we went over to MailChimp. So we have a MailChimp version that we can do anything we want, and we also have one that we created in Google Docs. Now, how many other ways can we do this? Well, it's really limitless. Whatever you can imagine is what you can do. Let me give you an example. For a free account at Canva, so if you haven't heard of canva.com, Canva is really, really cool. So Canva gives you the option to create graphics for free using many of their pre-built templates. So if I come over here to templates and I say that in terms of marketing, maybe I want to do a newsletter. And so I'm going to do a newsletter here, and there's a whole bunch of free ones here. I'll say, yeah, I'll take that little newsletter. I can use this design, customizing this design. And I love the colors and everything, so I say, you know what, I want to use this. Come in here, write my content, do everything I need to do. I can even make multiple pages out of this thing and turn it into a PDF. I can do whatever I want. At the end of the day, if I come up here and download just the one page that I want, maybe it's just going to be page 1, which all I need is the graphic. I can do that and download just the single page to use in my design. So now I've designed it, I've done it, I'll come back to command, same exact thing. Create design, right? Email, continue. And I'm going to create a new template. And that new template, I want the graphic that I brought from Canva. And I want to put that in there. I can absolutely do that. And I can even preview. This is probably too big because it's trying to do paper. Yeah. So I didn't do the right size, but I can bring this in here and fit it into the screen and make it look exactly like I want, creating it pretty much externally from command, but then bringing what I am, my completed graphic, into command from the design tool, which in this case, again, was the design tool of Canva. So let's recap a couple of things here. Number one, in order to create, and I'll go back to my designs area here. In order to create a campaign for an email, we need to have some kind of design. Now that design can in fact be all text. I'm totally fine with that. But we have to create that design in designs. So when we go down to KW Designs here and we click on Create Design, when we choose email for that and click Continue, we're given the option to use one of the ones that we have and kind of modify it, maybe even copy it and make a new one. We can also go over to the KWRI templates and get some from loading them from someplace else. So new templates, we can do that. We can get some email templates from the KWRI. Once we're inside of our design area, we can add anything we want. We can add our legal header, then we can design it with some text and maybe throw an image after that. We'll say it'll be a nice little image here. And then from underneath that, maybe we'll put a button down below it. And we'll say that we're going to add our legal footer down below that. So we can do all of these cool things inside of command. We can bring in those external designs, those external images, whatever we would like. We can even bring in here video and market snaps from different locations. All right. And that's what we're going to do now is we're going to use the editor exclusively to create an email. So let's start again here so that you saw some changes here, and we're going to come back and we're going to begin it right from the very, very beginning to create an email design. So here we are. We're on the designs page and we're going to click on create design. Since this is going to be an email design, we'll click on email. We'll say continue, and we're going to say, all right, we don't want to use any existing designs. We're going to create a new design template. So we click on create new template. One of the first things that you'll want to do to kind of stay with the best practices is to say, give it a name. So go up in the top corner and we're going to give it a name. I'll call mine September email 2. And once we do that, at least we know that we have a name for this. Down in the main design window, it's all about creativity here. Right? You can do anything you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my legal header, which is my short, small, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is what my legal header looks like. It's a nice thin banner that goes to the top of my email. Okay, so all I did was I dragged from the right-hand side, I dragged that legal header in there and put it onto the page. Now, I can't edit this per se. You can't edit the individual objects within here because it's coming from your marketing profile. That is correct. So it's coming from the marketing profile, so it's filling up this information from the marketing profile. Now, underneath this legal header, what do you want to do? Do you want to start with an image? Well, maybe you do. Maybe you want to start with an image right underneath that. And if you already have images in your system, you can use any one of those images. I'll take one of the camp images from last month that I have. But you can also come in here and get listing images from any listings that are available. And you can add images from your computer just by dragging them up in here. And I'll go ahead and drag one in here, and you can see that it will bring in one of those images, and I could even bring that image if I want. So I'll go ahead and pull that in. Maybe that's the image that I want to use. So here underneath my header is my Canva image that I had made, again, outside of Command, and I brought it in, and I have it now on here. So my newsletter image. Now underneath this image, maybe you want to put some additional text. Or you know what? Maybe you want to put it above the image. So we come over here and we drag a text box and we see the little green bar showing us that this is where the text will go. And we can go and double click on the text and put in the text that we want. Now I had done a moment ago, I had put in some text from Lorem Ipsum. So I'll go ahead and get that in here and I will say, yes, that's the text I want. So here's a nice little text field, text boxes above it. And I can see that there's my text. Maybe I want to clean it up, space it out, do whatever I want to do. I can do that. Okay. So as a matter of fact, I do want to space it out a little bit, and I want to have some returns underneath here. And I want to make sure that I have a little space. There we go. You know what? I want some space up top too. So I'm going to put some space up here, and happy September. And I'm going to take that happy September and I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to even make it the KW font, and I'll hit done, and it didn't go in the middle. Well, that's not very nice. Put that in the middle. Put that in the middle. Well, that's interesting. It's not being nice. I'm not going to worry about it. So here is the text. There's the image that I wanted to put in here. And maybe underneath this, I want to put a button. And the button is going to say something along the lines of contact me. So I'll click on this and say contact me. And we'll link this to, maybe it's going to be a landing page. And that landing page is, I've got a bunch of them that I've built into the system. And I can save that there. I'll say done. So now I've got that. And underneath here, maybe I'm going to have let's do a market snap. Why not? We'll do a market snap for an area so that whoever's reading this email can see some information about the local market. So we'll go ahead and come down here and the market's neighborhood trends for 03290, which is probably not going to be very much going on here. So we'll take the Mitchell Road market snap, bring that in, and now we have neighborhood trends for the Mitchell Road. There are no active listings, which I knew because there's nothing around here for sale. There's one pending, days on market NA, so it's not a very good market snap. Let me see let's see, 03801. Let's see what's going on in Portsmouth. Let's take Beverly Hill. All right, let's see what's going on with that. Hey, there we go. Beverly Hill's got some stuff going on. All right, so we've added another content block, and that was for the market snap. Now, maybe at the end here, I'm going to go ahead and put my legal footer, so I'll drag that down to the bottom of the page, and my legal footer is here. If I preview this email now, happy September, I've got a bunch of text here. I've got an image, the one image that I brought in from Canva, and then after that, I've got in a little button for contacting me, and a neighborhood snap for Portsmouth, and my legal footer. All of that, combining a bunch of different sources, okay? Combining a bunch of different tools to create a nice email that we can now use in our campaign. So how do we use it in our campaign? Well, if you recall, I'll save and close that. We went back to our campaigns area. And in campaigns, we chose email campaigns. And we said create campaign. It's going to be an email campaign. And this is going to be September market. Okay. And we'll say that this is going to be, we'll just say brand awareness again. Keep it simple. Command email. Create campaign. All of the information down here, we're going to put a little, let's see, we have our campaign name, September Market, and I'm actually going to use that in the subject line as well. I'll come down to the bottom of the page and say select campaign, September email, and it puts it in here. Anything we need to change, maybe we need to change some of the text, no problem. When we're done, we hit save and exit. And now here's a sample of our email on the side, showing us all the things that we had put in here, including the market snap and the legal footer down at the bottom. And maybe I want to send a test email to myself. So I'll say send a test email, and it's going to again go to Robert Vincent. And September market, send it off. And I will open that up separately in another window. And when it comes up, I'm actually going to switch to show you that window so that you can see it. All right, so we'll wait for that to show up. And let's see how long it takes. The emails are usually pretty good going out of command so that we can get them pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, I think the last time took about 30 seconds. Let's see how long this one takes here. So, and by the way, today is the last training for this week. Next week, we've got some new classes for you. I think we're coming towards the end of September, and we're going to be launching some new things going on in October for new types of trainings and new classes. So we're kind of revamping some of the training based on some of the feedback we've gotten from you guys. So I'm excited about that. All right, so here is I'm going to go ahead and bring this up and show it to you. Let's see if I can do that. I'll do it this way first. We'll come over here, and we're going to unlock that. Let me see. Screen share, unlock that. Great. And we're going to switcheroo. I should probably have set that up beforehand, but that's okay. Outlook test. Okay, here it is. Here is that email as it shows up in my email inside of in my case, Outlook. Make it a little bit smaller so you can see it here. How's that? There we go. So here's how it shows up with my header across the top, as we expected, and my little Happy September with my text introduction, and then the graphic that we had created. In this case, remember, we had gotten the graphic from Canva. We made a little email newsletter there. And then underneath the newsletter, we have a contact me button. This will link to a landing page that I had created. And below that is neighborhood trends. We could have changed the name here for putting in the name of the neighborhood, and of course the graphics for that. And then following down at the bottom, our footer. Pretty easy, wouldn't you say? It's actually a fairly simple process to create these email templates. Now, the thing that I'd like you to experiment with, and the thing that I'd like you to try out, is changing the way you think about creating the templates. We can do a lot of really cool things inside the designs area of Command. And you saw that when we hit the create design and we chose email and went through the process, we have a lot of blocks that we can use and a lot of tools. But I know that people tend to want to be creative in their own way. And because of that, there is nothing wrong with going to MailChimp with a free account and using their email builder and then downloading that HTML email and bringing it into Command. And then there's Canva. Canva is a great tool. There's a lot of fantastic things in here. Great inspiration to create an entire design or just a graphic to go inside of your design inside Command. So just those two alone, and then of course my favorite, which is the Google Docs. The reason I like this so much, you guys, is because Google Docs allows me complete flexibility over everything that I'm doing without being influenced by the templates, without being influenced by someone else's style. It's just the way that I think, so I can put anything I want in here. Graphics that I've created elsewhere, no problem. Downloaded graphics from the web, no problem. So experiment with some of these options. Experiment with some of these tools and see if you can come up with a way that works best for you. Now, at the end of the day, though, what I want you to remember is that if you are thinking about doing something like this by using the designs in Command and bringing in things or doing the designs completely within Command, you can absolutely do that, but we'll always be here to help. And you can always reach out to me to get some time on my calendar, and we can get together and go over any questions that you might have, any process, and so forth. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up here with that. And if you have any questions, of course, you're going to want to reach out to me at robert.vincent@kwclm. You can book time on my calendar at timewithrobert.com. And of course, anytime we meet, you can meet me in my Zoom room at kwtechtv.com. And don't forget that kwtechtv.com is also where we go for the labs on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you have any questions you want answered really quick, you can always join me in the KW TechTube lab, Tech TV lab, and I'll answer your questions. Our YouTube live streams are at kwtechtube.com. And of course, you're probably watching on the Facebook group, and that is, of course, in the KWCLM group. All right. Well, that should take care of it for you here today. Again, I'm glad you joined me. Thank you very much for coming in, and we will be talking to you soon. Have a great weekend.